listening to Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. Small town feel with big time ideas. After all, you are entitled to Brad's opinion. Here's your host, Brad Allard.
Well, hey, everybody. I have Melissa Miller here. So how was your ride over?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm still sweating from being like, I gotta go.
I know the feeling. We had a wreck on Main and Crowley here in town.
Yeah. And then I was coming down. Renfro is usually the way that I take to get out here. And the stinking railroad arms were down again with no train. And
You mean a train interrupted Burleson traffic? I can't believe it.
a lack of a train.
A lack of a train. It's even more irritating.
Which is, nothing to do with us. It's
I know.
railroad stuff. So nobody.
I've talked to Fletcher and I've talked to Victoria and others about, and they get complaints about the railroad like they can do something about it.
Yeah, I have a friend who works for UP, and whenever it's down consistently, which like it was a couple of months ago, I will text him and be like, "Get this under control."
Yeah, really. Yeah, it's like there's certain things you
And
just
he's like,
have to control.
"Okay, that's not."
That's
me.
just kind of
Good to
funny
know.
though. But then the wreck. I assume there was no fatalities, casualties, etc. But it looked like pretty serious.
It
wreck.
did look serious,
We're
yeah.
not talking about a fender bumper, so I hope everything turned out okay there.
Yes.
But we're going to talk about the honey tour. We're going to talk about Network at Night. We're going to talk about, you said you had a new location for the breakfast.
Yes.
And we talk about that and, any other summer plans and things of that nature. So we got lots going on in the summertime in this town. That's a good thing. Keeps us
I
busy.
love me some summer.
You do? Are you a summer person?
I am.
You-
I don't have a pool, and so I will literally melt to death, but I enjoy summer. I like hot. I like pools. I like beach. I like vacation.
I don't live in Burleson, right outside it, so I'm not a member of the Brick. I probably should be, but I'm. The Brick's what you take your kids to a lot of times. So you go to the Brick for like hanging out at the pool or any of that
No,
stuff.
I'm more of I'm going to find my friend's pool.
Oh, yes. My best friend with the pool, yes.
I'm going to go to a friend's house.
Yeah, when I was a senior in high school, and I was like a month away from going off to college, my dad said, "We're going to get a pool." And I go, "Thanks, Dad." Now you're getting a pool. I'm thinking if I'd had that pool 2 years earlier, I would have struck out with a whole better class of girl.
Yeah, the parties you could have had.
Well, with my crew would be pretty lame. But anyway, but I'm just saying, it's like, Dad, and I have put that yard in, almost, blade by blade practically. And so, and now he's going to dig it all up for a pool. And I said, "Man, you're a little late to the party, Dad." But anyway, so we're going to talk about all these things. We're going to also talk about sponsors. Got a new one today, so
Okay.
that's always a good thing.
That is a good thing.
Yeah, it's somebody too.
Oh, good.
Al Warner.
Oh, Al.
Alric, sorry. I'm just getting a little sniffy here. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about Otto. Thank you. Our place, of course. It's all busy. By the way, Otto and the friend is real good friends with Jaime over at Fresco's, and they're actually open tonight.
Oh.
They're very unusual, right? But
That
it's
is,
Cinco de
yes.
Mayo, right?
Oh, yeah. It is, isn't
And they
it?
got special, so I'm going to throw out on Otto in your space, and I'm sure you don't mind. Fresco's will be open on a Monday, which I wish they were anyway. I wish more places were open on Monday.
I mean, but they got to have a 2-day weekend.
I guess.
Or at least a break.
I know, I got the drill and all that. But, I went to our place. Rob and I went there for lunch on Saturday afternoon. We were doing some errands, and we were going to go to Lowe's and say, we'll eat. And I walked in, and the waitress there recognized me from that Thursday morning group I go to every other Thursday. But I haven't been able to go this semester because of my debut class. And she goes, "Where you been?" Blah, blah. And that's the kind of thing, she noticed my absence.
Absolutely,
How many other places will do that, right?
That's very true.
Yeah, and so, but I'll be back in the saddle. Tomorrow's my last Tuesday class, and I don't have a Tuesday, Thursday class next semester. So I'm going to do my constitutional law class.
Oh, that sounds super exciting.
Oh, it's not so bad. There's lots going on. But I also now can make that breakfast because I always had to miss.
Which is exciting, yes.
Well, I've heard a lot of good things. I got distracted. Anyway, Gita's is also a great place. They're also closed
I was
on
just going to
Monday.
say, their pickle pizza is like, oh my gosh, my favorite thing.
Really?
Yes, like super craveable. It's delicious. Add some ranch dressing to it's good without ranch, but it's so amazing and sounds like what?
Yeah, so that's what
Just
I thought.
try it and you absolutely need it in your life.
Well, it's like when I go to our place, Order Gina's, it's like I know there's all this stuff on the menu, but I know what I really like, and I feel like I want to make this time count.
Yes.
And so, because I'm not able to do it every day
Yeah.
for a lot of reasons. I don't want to gain 50 pounds, and I could do that easily eating pizza all the time. But it's like, I just like I should try something different, but I like this so much I don't want to miss out.
Yeah,
So,
well, just try it. We actually, the other day we were there and there were, I don't remember where they worked, but it was another table of people eating, and they got the pickle pizza and let us have a bite. So
Oh,
that was
really?
very kind of them. It had just come out, and we didn't like steal it from their plates, but kind of.
You just walk by and steal it. That's nice.
But it is absolutely so delicious.
It is. Also, thank you to our friends over at Old Pro Roofing. It's supposed to rain a whole lot tomorrow. Oh, by the way, Sarah is watching us, and Colin is watching us. So there you go.
Right, craving the pizza.
Yes,
We got it on Friday. It's just, it's once you know, and it's delicious, and you need it in your life.
Well, Old Pro Roofing is going to tell you a bad time to find out you have a leak in your roof is when it's raining. And it's supposed to rain tomorrow real heavy. I don't know. I'm always skeptical till it actually happens because, the weathermen will make you sound like Armageddon's coming and, it just goes off to, Jacksboro or something like that.
Well, it's the bubble.
It's the bubble, yeah. But anyway, there is a real thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with the bubble, it seems like it all goes around Burleson and either hits Arlington or maybe Hillsboro or something like that. So
I mean, we get rain. It's not like we are just totally protected, but usually it's worse around us.
Yeah.
So,
but anyway, John will tell you need your roof inspected. I do it every June, and I'm going to do it again this coming June, 817-734-2756, and he'll tell you what's going on. You're good to go or you need some repairs. If you have a real problem, he'll help you with the insurance. And he'll tell you not all insurance companies are as cooperative. Now, I'm fortunate. I'm in Texas Farm Bureau, and they're pretty easy to deal with. So, but there's others that you have to wrestle with, and they'll help you with that. Also, thank you to our friend Jeff Kelly over at the Wethington Agency. I'm going to have him on in early June. We're going to talk about the real estate issues because there's some issues. I was talking to 2 or 3 other real estate people, a couple in my Sunday school class and another one on B&I group, and they say because of all the uncertainties about these tariffs, a lot of the home building is slowed down. And so that's caused some other issues. And so everybody's kind of like in this holding pattern, waiting to see what's going to happen. But see, and that's why you need an agent like Jeff. Because if you're looking to buy in this area, you need somebody to help you navigate this stuff. You try to do it on your own, well, you don't do your own plumbing, I hope, and you don't fix it. You don't do your own roofing, it's that kind of thing. So you get an expert like Jeff, 817-781-0546. So if you're thinking about it, but you're concerned, he can tell you what's going on. And he does all over Johnson County. Also, Jeff at jeffkellyrealty.com. Hotworks, you know them, of course. Everybody knows them. My wife's going to join this week.
oh, nice.
Yeah. She's retired now. She worked for Southern Gym a while, and she said it's just time.
Yeah.
And so it's all good and everything. So Hotworks, it gives you 11 different workouts. Michelle will tell you that the infrared workout system is better on your joints, better on your muscles. Have you ever been there by any chance?
I have not, no.
okay.
But I do know a few people who do go, and then Michelle is actually a volunteer at the chamber for our Power of Heals group. So
Yeah. Well, almost all these people I'm talking with are
Our chamber members, yeah.
And I see them at these events.
yeah.
And so I know Old Pro is, Otto certainly is, and Jeff is. And who's next? We have Tiffany.
Good old Tiffany.
Yeah, Local Life
Yes.
magazine. It should be out by now. I haven't seen the cover yet.
I haven't either.
She won't mail to post office boxes. See, that's where I get the mail. If you're in the area, you have like a regular mail address, I guess you'll get it. 30,000 homes do. But I keep trying to tell her, put it in the post office boxes, but I don't know.
Well, good thing you can come by your local chamber and pick up a copy.
Well, there's places all over town where they have extra copies. I know at Otto's places are that way. Last time I went to get my car inspected over at Christian Brothers.
Oh,
Yeah, they had copies on the coffee table. So, I mean, there's a lot of places that keep spare copies. And so while you're waiting on something, or maybe you're sitting at the table waiting for your food to arrive, you can look at one of those over. All right, thank you, Tiff. Also, Burleson Buzz, I think Cody's back on the beat now. He's a new father again.
No.
His second child, yeah. And so he took, kind of paternity leave, if
Good
you
for
will.
him.
Yeah, well, that's this generation. In my day, he was back at
I
it.
think that's more people need to. That's a big thing to get adjusted to, and it's the whole family has to get adjusted. So I am proud of him for doing that, and I'm sure that his wife appreciates it as well.
Well, I didn't really have to take paternity leave because I'd accumulated so many sick days. One of the benefits of teaching school is, you do have fairly good sick leave. Not so much paternity leave like for 8 weeks, but if if you're not one that has to use up all your days, you can accumulate a bunch, and that's what happened with me. And so I had like almost 5 weeks if I wanted it, but I only took a week because I also had AP tests to prepare for, whatever else. But anyway, that's in my story. But thank you, Cody. Also tonight, if you hear this in time, you're going to hear about the city council meeting. And so you can check it out tomorrow on the website if you can't make it in time. But they're going to do some major rezoning on Houston Road, which is near me. So a big housing complex may be coming in. Just what we need. Anyway.
And Cody will cover all of that. Gives us the breakdown.
The breakdown, you betcha. I use that for my radio station. And we have a new sponsor, Alric Warner over at Bass Printing. The only printer you'll ever need. I use him. I've used him before. A lot of the materials I've sent out for the show and for the radio station, I mailed out or handed out at your event last February.
Yeah.
He printed up, and he does a really good job, and it's high quality. So I can recommend him not just as a sponsor, certainly, but as a customer. So check him out. His number is 817-616-8761. I'll say it again, 817-616-8761. He is a member of BNI with me, so I see him every Wednesday, and we all use him. And it's not just because we're in BNI either. I mean, we use him because we know we get good stuff for a reasonable price. So check him out. I think he has a special going on. Is the next slide available? I think. Yeah, there it is. Some 25% off and free shipping for some of the T-shirts and whatnot.
Oh, very good.
And he has, if you want to check the show later, you can see all these things, all the things he does. I mean, it's not just brochures. I mean, it's hats and cups and shirts and pins. And if he could stamp your name on it, he can do it. So there you go. As far as the others, we have a couple of nonprofit things we'll be talking about at the end of the show. And of course, the big one, City on the Hill.
Oh, yeah. That's next
That's Saturday. Yeah.
Coming up. Yeah.
That's a big thing.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about, but speaking of big things, you got a big thing, the honey
big
tour.
Big things, yeah.
So tell us all what's going on.
Real big things. So this will be the 24th year of Honey Tour Bike Ride, and it ranges, it's got routes from 7 to 67 miles that goes all around Johnson County, through Alvarado, Grandview, all of that. And it brings people from all across the Metroplex and state and even the country. Like actually we'll have people from other states come.
Oh, sure.
It's crazy. And so we are really excited. It's Saturday, May 24th, and it starts and finishes out of Centennial.
What's interesting about that is that, of course, the best known for a long time was that one in Wichita Falls in late August, Hotter Than Hell.
Oh,
And my dad did that for many, many years until, it got too old, really. And I would go up there and stay with them overnight in the RVs. And it's like a whole culture up there. They had a big RV park right next to their convention center, Wichita Falls, and you go into that convention center, and it had every conceivable product you can think of, it related to bicycling, and they'd all have a big high carb meal or something like that. And then 5 a.m, my dad would blast out. He had this cassette tape of the A&M band playing Reveille and all this other stuff, and and you'd think, Dad, you're going to wake everybody up, and they're already awake.
He's like, that's the point.
They're already awake, and it's like a community.
It really is.
Is there going to be a place for them to kind of get together and
absolutely.
Yep.
So at the what do you call that? The indoor. Yep. Sorry, it's in my head. I just can't see it. The indoor facility at Centennial.
Right,
That's
the
where
auditorium.
Registration and all that. No, at the back by like the football field.
Oh, you talking about the practice facility?
Yeah,
okay.
the indoor.
Yeah,
So registration and everything takes place there. Whenever they're finished with the ride, there'll be tents out in that in the back, but the front. It'll be in that area. We'll have tents. We'll have food. We'll have some vendors, all kinds of things. A DJ, all the goods.
It's a
whole thing.
It is a thing. And what I'm hearing, this is my dad, told me about this before he really got out of it, is the Honey Tour is becoming a stop along the route. There's several of these across the country so it's almost like it's like a Grateful Dead concert tour, the community moves with the event.
Absolutely, they do, yes.
And so they all run into each other, they're old friends, whatever. And so Burleson's become a spot on the route. So
Yeah,
to speak.
absolutely. This will be, in preparation for some of the longer routes and rides that are, later on in the year or the summer, like you mentioned. So,
Well, that one in Wichita Falls lives up to its name, hotter than hell.
Yeah.
The only one time it wasn't, and it was, they rode in the rain and mist and all this sort of stuff. It was like mid-80s, and they're all disappointed. And I'm thinking,
yeah, but that's still super humid and blah.
yeah, it was. But when it's 105, Wichita Falls, I don't know what about it is, but that whole area of Texas and southwest Oklahoma is both the hottest and the coldest places I've ever been. And summertime, late August, is just brutal. And then you go up there about January and you freeze to death. But anyway, Wichita Falls also has professional bike races as well. Are we doing that?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, they have people that are competing for money.
No.
Okay, so yeah, but they what they do is at Wichita Falls, they'd have the professionals that were competing. I mean, this is a tour. Have sponsors and they get paid and all this other stuff. I mean, they would leave at like 6:30 or 7, and then everybody else will leave after that. And as far as the professionals, they would have a different route. But I tell you, it is something. Watching them leave is one of the most interesting things.
It's crazy.
It's like a mob, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah. I did that last year. It was my first time to be a part of it. But, we're in Centennial, and Centennial is kind of like a bowl. The parking lot and everything are kind of set down. And so I went to the very top as they were leaving, and just to watch the massive amount of riders come out was really amazing to watch them leave and tell them all bye. And
well, how many do you think are going to be there?
Around 800.
800. Okay.
Yeah.
The Wichita Falls one had the best year they ever had was 15,000.
Jeez.
I know. It took them literally an hour for all of them to go.
That's crazy.
They would leave in the downtown area of Wichita Falls across this old bridge that, looks like something built in the 30s. And, and after the professionals are gone, they'd fire a gun and they would start moving across. And they want you to walk across the bridge, then get on your bike. And it was just like this long, continuous flow of people. And I would bet 2/3 of them were either in a Texas shirt or a USA flag shirt or something like that. But, a lot of businesses would sponsor groups. Like my dad's from Corsicana. And so that Corsicana, the Collins Street Bakery.
Okay.
They had shirts, the Corsicana fruitcakes.
That's funny.
Yeah. But 800, is that the biggest we've done, 800?
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
How?
Well, this is like your second one, right?
Yeah, this is only my second.
Yeah, I mean, you started about 3 months after, like in September, if I recall.
Yes.
A couple of years ago. So you're coming up on your second year anniversary. I'm sure everybody will celebrate and shut the city down for that. But
that's right. I'll get the key. The mayor will give me the key. It'll be a whole thing.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Well, see, but I'm going to bet you 5 years from now, it'll be 3 or 4 times that as it goes on. One thing that these bikers are very particular about is how well organized these things are.
Yes.
Okay, because if you have a reputation of being kind of chaotic, they'll let's pass on this one. But since y'all have been taking it over and reinvigorated it, it's much more organized.
It definitely is, but it was already a fan favorite, and we already had a well-known reputation for being, a set-apart ride, and that our volunteers made it really amazing. That we really were well-known, and again, we'll only continue to make that.
Well, we should
better.
give your predecessor Gabrina some credit for that, because she did kind of reinvent that thing, and because I know we had it, but I think when she took over the chamber, she made it more prominent, and then you and Sarah have made it more of a thing regionally, not just for Burleson. So.
Yeah, it's always been an all over thing. It did stop for COVID, I think 21 and 22.
Yeah, there was about 2 or 3 year period in which she didn't have it.
Yeah, so it came back in 23, and trying to make back up that ground that lost during COVID for sure. So, but we're excited about it, and we are partnering with a ride producer and Try Now events, and they do this. They put on triathlons and bike rides and runs and all of these things, and so it has really become streamlined and significantly easier on our volunteers and things too, which really makes me happy because it makes their job easier, which means they're more likely to keep volunteering and coming back. And so that's awesome too. So.
Well, and you're doing it a good time of year because, if you're doing it in summer or late summer, early fall, everybody's sweating their brains out. It's not as much fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's hot, but it's not August hot for sure. So.
Oh, I think maybe what it'll be 90 degrees will be all right. And as early as they leave, And,
they leave at 8 a.m.
And then you have these different route levels and all this. What's the longest? About 60K?
67. Yep.
67, okay. And so that's what they had for Wichita Falls. And, and I did it one year. I did like the 25-mile one.
Yeah.
And it's really fun because you're taking part in something that big. It's lots of fun. The whole point of this, besides just for the event itself, you also want to encourage people to stay in Burleson and overnight,
absolutely.
Things like that. Where do they stay mostly? Do they stay in local hotels?
Yeah, absolutely. Between Jellystone or, Holiday Inn and,
Jellystone's where my dad would stay. He'd come bring his RV in.
Which is such a great where you can bring your RV so you're in your own comfort, but also you can bring your family and they can go hang out and do fun things back at Jellystone while you're riding and sweating it out.
Particularly when my kids were younger, when they were like 5 and 8 or 6 and 9 and that kind of thing, they could play at the Jellystone or swim at the Jellystone and all this other stuff. So it was a lot of fun. The only time it was kind of a hassle is when we went. My son and I stayed with my dad in his RV, and we had a terrific hailstorm about 2 a.m.
Oh, gosh.
And, if you've ever been in a hailstorm during, intense rain in an RV, boy, it's loud. And it was, you couldn't hear yourself think or talk almost. It was so loud. But that was, most of the time, the weather was fine.
Yeah.
And so... It was good memories.
Yeah,
it really is, and that's what this is about too. That's what I like about Burleson. It's a community that really is looking for quality of life, not just making a living.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're looking for quality of life, and so, and I know you're not part of this technically, whatever, but the carnival's going on at the same time.
It does go on at the same time. So that I believe, don't get me lying, I believe it runs Thursday through Sunday.
It does.
And I don't know any of the times because that, like you said, is separate and with the city who puts that on. So
right, I didn't.
It'll be in Old Town.
It'll be in Old Town.
And we do love that. Again, it's got something for people to go and do while your family is here. You can go have fun before and after the ride. You can take your whole family down into Old Town after the ride and hang out and find things to do.
Well, a lot of people assume that the chamber's putting it on, but it actually is the city.
That one is the city,
right.
Yes.
And about a week from Thursday, I'm going to have a couple of representatives from the Parks Department come talk about it. It's Jen Basham's crew. I don't know exactly their names. I mean, they said I got to look up the email again, but that's going to be a lot of fun. And I like the way that even if you're not doing it, you're still coordinating with it to kind of make it one big event in a sense. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And even as old timers, I don't have any grandkids, and my kids are a little old for riding some of the rides. But are you ever really too old for that?
I mean, probably not.
Okay.
Probably not.
I mean, but anyway, to me, it's very nostalgic. You walking through that because when I was a kid. Every summer there'd be some church or mostly a supermarket parking lot, and it'd be one of these traveling carnivals come through, and you go hang out and waste your money and time and stay out of trouble
and have a good time. It feels very Sandlot.
Well, one thing I do appreciate is our businesses down in Old Town. I mean, they're on board with this. I mean, they make it happen. I mean, they would if they objected, it would be somewhere else, but they make themselves available, and I hope they get some business out of it.
Oh, certainly, yeah.
Well, I could see very easily getting some business. Like, here, kids, here's $10. I'm going to go have a drink over here, one of the bars or something, or go over and
sit on a patio.
Yeah, I could see that happening actually more than once.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a little coffee over here at Daydreams, and you go and try not to get yourself hurt.
Don't throw up.
Don't throw up. Don't get kidnapped. I'll never hear the end of it.
Oh, Lord.
That won't happen. I'm sure the Burleson police will be all over it, right, Colin?
Sure, they will be.
Well, I know they will.
Yeah.
You probably that's one thing I like.
They're cringing right now. Did he just say that?
No, I know Burleson police will be all over it. That's what I like about it, because when I went last time, there was somebody with a badge with an eyesight almost all the time.
Yeah.
Turn left, turn right, look straight ahead. There was almost always somebody with a badge. and also you have the volunteers, those cops.
Oh, yes.
The volunteers.
Yes.
And so they have their vests on, so it's very secure.
Yeah.
So relax, Colin. I have him on afterwards, and he could tell me what happened. I have him on the 27th, I think, or something like that, and he'll tell us about it. Now, there's other things going on though besides just the
there's always things going on.
The network at night. I thought it was the first Tuesday, but it's always been the second Tuesday.
It has always been the second Tuesday.
Well, I've been the last 2 or 3 because I was able to do it now because I'm not teaching nights anymore, and I really enjoy them.
Yeah.
And the last one was over at Texas Health over the far west part of Burleson. This one you say is at J. Bolin Photography.
It is on the second Tuesday, which is the 13th. It will be down at J. Bolin Photography, which is off of Burleson Redder Road, and it is hosted by the Power of Heels.
If you're kind of trying to put this place in your head, on Burleson Red Road, there's also there's a gas station there. There's like a strip mall there of 3 or 4 other businesses there. It's kind of on an intersection because if you live in that general area, you've been down there, past it dozens of times.
Yeah.
And I am really glad you're doing this with Jessica because she is part of our B&I group, and she is such a nice person.
She is wonderful. We do love her.
Yeah, she's so sweet, and we love her at B&I. And, her husband gets the same question I get. How did you pull this off? I mean, what did you do? Did you threaten her? Did you tell her you had money? What? Anyway, but she's really a vital part of it, and she does a really great service because several of our B&I people have done headshots and
they're
promotional
fantastic.
materials.
Absolutely, yes.
Yes,
yeah, she does beautiful work.
So how far back is the waiting list for this? I'm sure everybody in the chamber wants a piece of this action.
For Network at Night, there are actually, now don't ask me which ones,
all right.
But there are a couple of months left in 2025 that you can host Network at Night. And so it is on the second Tuesday of the month. You would provide the drinks, like beverages of some sort. Doesn't have to necessarily be alcohol. Just
it helps, but I don't know about Jessica though.
Water, tea, things like that, and little snacky foods. So.
Jessica's husband, is associate pastor at Graceview, so I don't know if they're just going to have an open bar there, but
that's totally up to them. It used to be a requirement a while back, and I really did not like that. And so it's totally up to the host what they want to do. We obviously, if you're going to do that, then you have to have some non-alcoholic stuff as well. But food and drinks and a couple of raffle prizes, but there are a few of them left later on in 25. So
I don't think we missed the open bar thing too much.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going there to do that.
It's like an hour and a half.
So Sarah's going to throw down some dates, June 10th.
Very good.
September 9th, October 14th. So you said there's some requirements. It isn't just like an open house. You do provide snacks and beverages and whatever else. And after an appropriate time for schmoozing, you make a few announcements. And usually the people that are hosting will make some announcements about their business.
Yes, absolutely.
And then you do a raffle, which I've won a couple of them, actually. Yeah,
we have some good prizes that come out.
I got one from Lisa Smith over at Stop. That's a beautiful bag, and I use it because I needed it. I didn't have anything like that. And so actually very helpful. And it, coffee cup and all this. And it was very, very helpful. I don't know what Jessica's going to put out there, but I bet she'll have something.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and with the whole Power of Heels group being part of it and being the co-host essentially, Jessica's providing the location, the Power of Heels are hosting it. And so between 18 to 20 women, I know that they're going to have some fantastic raffle prizes, and it'll be a fun event that night for sure.
For those who aren't familiar, what exactly is the Power of Heels?
So that would be our women's division of our volunteers. And so their whole mission is to help support and encourage and mentor women-owned businesses. And so they put on not only a Network at Night once a year that they host, but they also take care of our Women's Health and Wellness Luncheon that's in July. And then they put on the Full Circle Women's Conference, which is in September.
So, how does one join the Power of Heels? Basically just make themselves available and understand the need to be part of the crew. It isn't just something for the resume, right?
Oh, absolutely not.
Right.
If you're signing up for anything in the chamber, really, you're volunteering of your time and your services. And so it's never just to check the box because this looks good on a resume or things, because you will actually be put to work. And so for any of our arms, whether it's the diplomats or the ambassadors or Power of Heels, you would go on to burlesonchamber.com and then you can click on at the top to be part of one of those groups, and you'll fill out the application. So some of them have a different process. Power of Heels, actually, their application is closed currently, but it will open later on in the year, I believe in July or August. And you can fill out an application then, and they will be in touch with you.
Is there a limited number
right now? Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So it isn't like just a large group. It is a 20 or so?
Yes,
Okay.
It's limited to 20 and to only so many members per industry as well, so that we have a variety of things.
It's kind of the elite of the Burleson Chamber.
Yeah, we appreciate them volunteering of their time and giving for sure.
Well, now, is Jessica part of that? I know
She is. She is both on Power of Heels and on my board of directors.
Right. I knew she was on the board.
Yeah.
And, so she's just involved, fully immersed into this community.
Is.
And that's a really good thing. Now, as far also as we were talking about prior to the show about the breakfasts, you do the business over breakfast, which now I can make. I won't have an excuse anymore, except if I sleep in. But that'd be wrong. But I've always wanted to do it, but I've been, always booked up on Tuesdays for the last 2 semesters.
Yeah.
And I don't know about next semester just yet, but I know I think if I have a Tuesday class, I still might be able to make it. But how long do these things last?
So Business Over Breakfast is the last Tuesday of the month, always the very last one, and it runs 7:30 to 9. So we do offer breakfast, a hot breakfast, coffee, water, all the goods. And then we start at about 7:45, 7:50, and then we try very hard to get you out by 9 so we can be respectful of time. But that group has grown tremendously. Actually, Sarah just was posting the other day, our registration for our May in 23 or 24 was 40 people, and we just had 94 people register for the April Business Over Breakfast that we just had. So in a year, we have more than doubled. It is a fantastic way to start your morning.
And if you might need to leave early. Like I would probably have to leave, if I get there about 7:30, I'd probably have to leave there about 8:15, 8:20, just so I can, because I do know I have a 9:30 class next semester on Tuesdays. But it's no big deal. It's not like they flog you as you leave or whatever.
No, you could dip out if you needed to. I would, you're going to miss
the good
stuff. Good chunk of it, because that's pretty early. But if you have to come later, leave early, we understand. But we definitely,
it is.
It's worth going to, and there are some solid connections that are made every time. And we hear from the different CTE departments during the school year, where the kids themselves come and talk to us and tell us what they have going on, and they're available for internships. So they're telling you what they can work on. You can actually connect with them via the school to have them come and be an intern for your specific business as well. And so that's really awesome to see.
So this is catered by the Centennial Culinary Arts,
It
right?
is sometimes 3 times a year. Culinary caters this for us.
Well, they don't in the summer. And you mentioned you're going to be changing locations, right?
Yes,
So
in
where
the
is it gonna
summer. For the rest of the school year, we are at the Brick, but during the summer, which is May, June, and July, the Brick has summer camps. So we can't go there because the kids have to have somewhere to go.
Nah, they don't.
So
just put them in front of the video games. No, that's not right.
No. So for the summer, May, June, and July, we will be having Business Over Breakfast at Old Texas Brewery. And Jamie has graciously agreed to host us for those 3 months. So we are very excited about that.
I've only met her once, but I hear a lot of impressive things about her.
She is amazing. She is a fantastic supporter, not just of the chamber, but of the city of Burleson in general as a whole.
I met her
really
at one of your Network at Night things, and I was impressed. And I hear, they're very accommodating.
Very accommodating, very generous with their time and their talents, and always eager to step in. And there's never a I'll do this if, there's no conditions with her on it. She just wants to help and fill a need for you, and she's very selfless in it. It's fantastic.
Well, there was one other thing I was going to ask you about, and my brain just went blank. Doggone it. Y'all have some sort of tournament coming up? Or
The golf tournament.
Right. Okay.
Yes,
See,
we do.
all right. That's what I was thinking, but I had, I got 2-3 other groups that are doing golf tournaments as well.
Well, ours is the most fun.
Well,
So-
of course, but I'm just saying, I'm trying to keep them all straight because I know that the Center for ASD is going to have one, and there's another outfit. BOF used to have them, but we're not going to do that this year.
Oh,
Well, in part because there's a lot of golf tournaments, and in part because what would happen with us is that since we had 2 major fundraisers, we go and, we do the golf tournament, raise the money, whatever, and then we go back for the breakfast we do in October, and they'd say, well, buddy, I've already tapped out.
Yeah.
So it was actually detracting from our October thing.
makes sense.
So and it was a lot of trouble putting these golf tournaments on, as you well know. So we said, if we're costing ourselves, on the back end on this, maybe it's not worth it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But what about yours?
For us, it's still absolutely worth it.
Sure.
And so ours is on Friday.
Sarah will tell you in a minute.
No, I know. It's Friday, June 13th,
Okay.
and it's at Hidden Creek. And registration is open currently for a single player, or go ahead and get your foursome together. And so you can register for that at burlesonchamber.com, and then just find the golf tournament and sign up for that. Sponsorships are still available. We have a bunch of fun options this year as well. So.
Well, see, like last summer, the BOF was like 4 days before yours. And so that was also another thing hey, I'm already golfing in the chamber event. And, they can't just take all that time off to golf and all this other stuff and all this. But that's a pretty big deal as well. And I really do like Hidden Creek. I haven't golfed in a while because that's one of those sports you got to play all the time to be good at. And but it's... you don't have to be really good to play in these tournaments.
Not in a tournament, no. I mean, we'll reward you if you're the worst team. Like, you even get a prize for being the worst team. So that seems fun. You should just be a part of it.
Do you golf?
No, I really want to. My sweet child and husband have tried to teach me before, and my son is much more patient with me than my husband. But I am determined to learn because I do find value in it. I think everyone in business should play, but especially women, that is a necessary thing for you to know how to play is golf, because business gets done on the course, and we should be a part of that.
Probably. I'm just guessing here. I'm not sure. Is it best ball, as they say? You know what a best ball tournament is?
Yes.
Okay, because if you're out there, know what I'm talking about is, you have 4 guys and they tee off and you hit the best, you take the best tee shot, and then y'all drop your ball by it, and you have 4 more shots and you take the best of those. And that makes it fun for guys like me because I didn't feel any pressure.
Yeah.
I go with it, and
See, you don't have to be great.
I was like the D player always, and I always go first because I figured if I could get it in the fairway, the other guys are really good could wail away, because they have at least a safety shot, And if I put it in the trees, which is pretty common, then we still have 3 more opportunities to get a decent shot. So I get up there and I'd hit a decent drive, and I said, well, that's good. Next time play from the ladies' tees, and we'll actually...
Yes.
That kind of thing. But
there's always someone to carry you.
It's always,
on a scramble.
Yeah. And so I tell you how to get to golf who's good is our school board member, Sean Miner.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll gladly take him. Yes.
Yeah, go hassle him a bit, but get on there. I see his daughter at the B&I meetings. I'm going to mention it to him, too. There's a lot of golf stories. He would play in our church golf tournament. He's a member, and he'd win it every time practically. And one time I got on the team and had another really good golfer, and we beat them by a stroke. And it was like, a major upset, and that kind of thing. So,
well, I'll definitely.
I got distracted.
I will be reaching out to Sean.
I got
Noted.
distracted. Okay. In the fall, is there anything else going on?
There's
besides
there's always something going on.
Well, I mean, but like a scheduled event, not the Tuesday and the.
No, that's what I mean. This year, there's something. There's a major signature event every single month because who thought we should be busier? Me. So in the fall, we've got Full Circle Women's Conference. That is on Friday, September 26th.
Well, Sarah will tell us.
Yeah. I guess I could just pull up my own calendar while I'm sitting here and tell you if that day is 26. I was right. And then we have a new event coming in October. It is a clay shoot. So we have never done a clay shoot before, and this will be our first one. And so it's on Friday, October 10th, and that will be out at Alpine. Registration is open for all of these events already. And then we have a brand new event coming in November also that is on Saturday, November 1st. It is the Coffee Walk. So
that's interesting.
Yeah. The hope is to be down in the plaza, but you know how they do like a wine crawl or something where you're
or the
tasting a
brew
little bit of
fest and all
yes,
that,
and
yeah.
so it is that, but it's coffee. So you are, celebrating the coffee from bean to brew to cup to the whole morning ritual of waking up without Folgers in your cup. And so we will be highlighting lots of local coffee shops and unique coffee finds around in the area.
Well, we do
roasters and
have the
things like
coffee
that,
shops.
so.
Next thing you have to do is a car wash stop or whatever. We joke about that, but we have a lot of good coffee places. I prefer Daydreams because I know the owner and known her family for 25 years.
Yeah.
And all that, and it's great coffee and all that. But there's a couple other places I've been to, and it's pretty good. You know, that Black Rock place that's on Wilshire is very good as well. As far as the last event I missed, I couldn't make it, was the State of the Education. That was, 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
How did
on
that go?
A very, very rainy day.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
How did that go?
But it was good. Yeah, we heard from Hill College and BISD. It was
So
fantastic.
what did Jimerson have to say?
He was bragging on their CTE program, which I completely agree with, again, because those are the same kiddos that come to our business over breakfast. And so it was really just great to hear from them and to be able to share what they do to a larger group, because they're a very amazing group of kids that 90-something% of our students are in CTE. And so almost every student we have is in one of these programs. And so for lots of people not to know maybe how fantastic they are is a real shame. So,
well,
nice.
and there's a lot of upheaval going on in public education with what's going on down in Austin. So I think this is a good rejoinder, so to speak, to people who think that our public schools don't offer enough or as well as they should or whatever else, because look at the stuff Burleson ISD offers.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have a kid get out of school with a associate's degree if they go to the early college. You got the CTE program and all that. You got dual enrollment in AP and all those programs over at BHS and Centennial. Good heavens.
Yeah.
It's so much more than when I was in high school. And you're much more recent than I. Did you remember
But they do still have stuff. I mean, I was in cosmetology, so I left high school with my cosmetology license. And so that, I think they still have that, but I think that's amazing that you're able to leave high school with that extra either license or certification or whatever it is that just gets you that much further on your way.
Who was your teacher?
Miss Richards.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Sharon. Sweet as cake, right?
I loved her.
For those who don't, are old timers, this is the mother of Stacy Sikora, which, big time athlete, Olympic athlete, whatnot. And I remember when we were working together, and Stacy was first in the Australia Olympics, the Sydney Olympics, and then we were all following it as close. But Sharon is just, she was a
amazing.
jewel.
There are so many things that I still find myself saying that she taught me, either little quirky sayings or just, cosmetology type stuff that obviously I that's not my job anymore,
no,
but I still use it. And I really loved it. That for me was a huge saving grace to my high school.
That's exactly right too, because I almost never had trouble with cosmetology students because they had a vested interest in doing okay in class, at least to do well enough. And some were pretty good students, some were okay. And if they ever started getting attitude or whatever, I'd just say, Miss Richards, do you mind talking to this young lady? And
get you.
She'd take a couple on the side of the head, right? Well, she would explain it to you in a way you'd understand. Put it that way.
And we were more likely to come to class because you had to get your hours. You had to do all of these things. There was that expectation of you can't waste what you're doing in here.
Well, that's one of the real benefits of having such a wide program, because people talk about, certain groups of kids that are more difficult. The ones that probably had the most academic issues with were those that weren't involved in anything. They had, if I had athletes, they don't, particularly female athletes, they always seem to be pretty academically inclined. But I had a lot of football players too. And a lot of people think, football players as big lugs. I had several of them that were every year very bright and good students. So that's a unearned reputation.
I don't know where that comes from.
Just, I don't know, stereotype.
Yeah.
And then, same thing with the band kids, same thing with the choir kids. I had a ton of those. And so, that kind of extra discipline translated to benefit for me in the classroom.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if I ever really needed to talk to a coach or to one of the other teachers. I could, but I really didn't have to do that very often because these guys understood the drill.
Yeah.
And there you go. I got a couple of things here we're going to talk about, what's going on in the community. Josh, do you have the City on the Hill logo floating around out there in the cyberspace? That's going to be a big deal, as always. City on the Hill. Last year, it kind of got a little wet, but it doesn't really matter. The weather's supposed to be okay this year.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, I always tell this story about Lisa Schwartz. 2 years ago, they're supposed to have this monsoon on Saturday. Mm-hmm. And this was Thursday. She was on the show promoting City on the Hill. And I said to her, is it going to rain, whatever? She said, well, we're praying not to. Well, you pray right now if you want it. Oh, and she just, whipped into a prayer like that. It wasn't like she had to prepare herself.
No.
And she starts praying that the weather be good enough. And son of a guns, Friday night, the one went north, one storm went south, and there was a nice, beautiful day I said, I'm going to take you to Vegas, Lisa. And so pray over these cards.
I don't think that works like that.
I said, pray that the ball goes into the right slot on the roulette wheel. And she's like, no, I think I'll pass.
Yeah.
But anyway, May 10th, 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock at the Burleson High School, and they got all these vendors. And they also have the car show, which I always like. It's amazing. Car shows really attract a lot of people, and we got a lot of people in this area that have these old cars for display.
Yeah.
I saw one in the parking lot last Saturday, but unfortunately I couldn't go because it was at the Twin Peaks, and Robin was with me and all this other stuff.
She said, "Keep moving."
Yeah, she said, "Keep moving."
Look as you drive.
yeah. So, but it was the cars. Honest. But anyway, City on the Hill, big deal. It's no fee to be a vendor, no fee to participate. Just show up.
Just show up.
And there's going to be a
Totally
lot
free.
of different groups there, some nonprofit, some profit. It's a great deal. Really, it's not so much, they're not going to be vending like the flea market or the market we have on Saturdays
The
every day.
farmers market?
Yeah. I'm trying to think farmers market. I wouldn't think that's not right. Farmers market, that's it. That farmers market's so successful, though, But it's not really for that. But if you're a for-profit, they're likely to give away samples of your stuff, and you can hit them up later.
Yeah.
And as always, there's a lot of stuff going on at the library. That library's pretty busy.
We do have a very busy, awesome library.
And I do the Burleson updates on the radio, and half of it just what they're doing. Seriously.
Yeah.
But I've been talking about yours
Which
too.
is good. Oh, thanks.
But yours is pretty well publicized.
We try.
Well, right. If you throw up the 88.3, our friend Rich Hooper, I'm going to get him back on the show a little bit. He had a trip to Malawi last month. I'd like to hear all about it. 88.3, The Journey. It's on my wife's car all the time. Mm-hmm. So you listen to it occasionally?
I do, yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, my commute is very short.
Yeah, I know. Right.
A few minutes from from home and work. But yes, it is.
88.3, The Journey. And so he'll be promoting the show in the air. And then community radio, the show will be on at 6 o'clock tonight, at 1 o'clock tomorrow. But speaking of podcasts. When's yours?
It comes out on the first Tuesday of the month, so should drop tomorrow.
And who is it going to be?
It's going to be with Colin Gregory.
Okay, I'm going to steal it and put it on community radio.
Excellent, thanks.
So, sure. so it'll be on, I usually put one on at 6 and then a repeat on 1 o'clock the next day.
Okay.
So there you go. As far as my programming coming up, I'm trying to work out something for Thursday. Tomorrow I'm not available, but Thursday. And it's 50-50 whether the guests can make it. If not, then I'm just going to rant about what's going on in the world. I could do that.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Talk about, how the world's coming to an end, all this other stuff. And, just the usual uplifting kind of programming that you tune in for. Mm-hmm. Next week, though, it'll be pretty busy. I'm going to make sure I get this right because I always mess up with it. I know on the 15th, I have, like I mentioned earlier, people from the Parks and Rec to talk about the carnival and all this other business. I do believe I know who's on Monday, but I'm going to make sure that I don't mess it up. Yeah, it's Greg Cooper, who we're going to be talking about what's going on down in Austin. He has that Texas Transparency Project that you may have seen on Facebook, and we're going to talk about what's going on with the property tax issues and the recently passed school vouchers, which we've had some pretty good conversations about. Good. So anyway, anything else, Josh?
No, that sums it up.
You're good? Okay.
Yeah.
I want to make sure you're okay. That's the only important thing.
Oh, no. You could say I'm having the best day ever right now.
Yeah, okay.
That's amazing.
Don't tell Taylor I said that, by the way.
Yeah, okay, fine. Thank you, Sarah, for dropping by and keeping us apprised of what's going on. I'm sure she's very busy.
Yes.
Anything you'd like to add at the end?
I don't think so.
You're good
Check
to
out
go.
everything at burlesonchamber.com. If you're interested in Honey Tour, be sure you go to burlesonhoneytourbikeRide.com and you can register to ride in that event or to be a volunteer. Either way, you can get a fantastic shirt designed by yours truly. They're very soft this year, we promise.
Was that an issue before?
Yeah, they were really thick and, the really gross, horrible texture, thick shirts.
Right, chokes you.
Yes. So we did nice ones this year.
Okay.
So you'll actually want to wear it.
No, of course we will. Who would not want to wear it?
I don't want to wear one of the thick ones. Those are hot. Ugh.
Yeah.
And scratchy. And this is
I
soft.
don't know if when I get a T-shirt, I don't know if it shrinks or I'm getting bigger. I'm going to go with it shrinks.
I think it shrinks.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Anyway, thanks for everything, guys. I appreciate what you're doing. Probably we'll get you on. I don't know what's today, the 5th, maybe in about 6 weeks. Is that good for you?
Okay.
Well, it'll give you some time to recover. Maybe after the golf tournament, so you can. Or you want to promote the golf tournament? We'll work that out. But I know you're very busy, and it isn't next year your senior year for one of your kids.
Yes.
You think you're busy now?
Yes. Next
Okay.
year will be a senior year.
Yeah. Okay. You're gonna be doing double duty next year. So.
Yeah. Kayla Hoffman, I feel like she kind of wants to wrangle me in to do some things. She's an amazing volunteer for
absolutely.
Booster Club and all of that. And I'm like, yeah, but maybe I'm busy. I don't know. And I feel like senior year is the year that people are going to try to get me on board for football and soccer.
Well, she was part of our BOF group, and we don't stay on forever. We have 3-year terms, and so it's her turn to move on, I suppose. We miss her, though.
Which I think is great that there are terms on those. I think that's
Yeah.
fantastic and helps with burnout and helps keep things fresh.
Well, and you can apply for another term. It isn't like it's a term limit of any kind, but, I think Kayla Jo saw that, she's going to be dealing with centennial events for her kids
Yes.
a lot.
Yes.
And then, of course, the bank, of course, the chamber, and, it's a lot on the plate.
Yep.
And that you can get burned out. Not everybody could be
Absolutely.
Mary Slaney. I mean, really.
I just love her. But yes, you are correct. And I don't want anyone, especially a volunteer, to get burnt out. That's important, that there's that good balance of work, volunteer, and private time. So,
Okay. All right. Well, we'll work out some time in the summer. And guys, I'll see you Thursday, one way or the other. It'll be at 11 o'clock. Either I'll be here ranting about the latest outrages going on in D.C. and Austin, or I'll have the guest that I've been hoping to get. So we'll see y'all then.